getting drunk, are you ready to meet me? I'm lit and I'm riding the fast lane. Don't let me down, I'm on fire.
Good evening, everyone. You're welcome once again to Masterclass with Toko Badili. How are you doing? I want to believe it's a beautiful Sunday. It's quite strange that we're having this program on Sunday, but of course, that is this program for the very first time. It is a special edition, and it is a combination of the effort from Masterclass with Toko Badili with another platform called the My Investment Africa. And what we decided to just collaborate again today for the second time to talk about this awesome topic today. And I'm very, very sure that you all will be benefited into this class. Let's go into it. Who is my guest of today? Is no other person but Mr. Andikan Ibanga. This guy is a great guy. His name alone is a banger. You know, it's someone I so much respect. As a young man who has done so much for himself, he has done so much for the community, and is a great personal finance strategist, as he calls himself. He has helped several professionals get out of debt. He helps people to grow their money and also confidently create wealth. I love that word, confidently create wealth. So Andikan is also a crypto enthusiast. So we'll talk about that next week. Okay, for a lot of us that want to know more about crypto, he's an entrepreneur, he's an investor. Before he actually started his mission to empower, he has a mission to empower 100,000 individuals take charge of their finances and investments over the next 10 years. Okay, he has gotten over 7 years plus experience in management consulting across fields of strategy formulation, execution, and monitoring, business processes improvement and operational effectiveness reviews, and design. I'm reading actually, okay? And design working across banking, insurance, telecommunication, and oil and gas on combined project value over 1.5 million US dollars, working with Big Four and other international consulting firms. And he has a BSc in accounting from Covenant University. He has an MBA and is an alumnus of Lagos Business School. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear the drum rolls. Andikan Ibanga, you're welcome, my brother.
Thank you. Coach Timmy Toko has already given me, a wonderful introduction, and that's fantastic. I'm not going to go about myself again. I'm just going into this. I think what's important that here said that I really like to say is that this is a mission to really help people take charge of their finances and investments. And in that mission, I'm spending a lot of time to learn new things that eventually I expose on this journey. Now, this program we'll be having the next 30 minutes or so is actually a three-weekend program, very detailed, with master classes, with assignments, with projects, that help people really get out of that debt, journey into the journey of abundance, into having their finances in order, into being able to understand what investment they could do, understanding their investment portfolio, understanding, okay, how much do I have, what can I do per time with what I have, and all that. It's massive. But because of time, we're just going to touch a number of key things I think is important right now. I'm just going to move on. I talked about the workshop, and I'm moving on into what we'll learn. Now, in this class, we'll try and cover.
I'm going to interrupt you, Andikan. If you can raise the camera a little bit, we can't see your face. Some of us would still love to see. We're only seeing you from the neck. Okay.
Can you see me now? So it's a bit. I put in my laptop on an elevated platform, so my face might not show every single time.
Yeah, okay, it's fine now.
We can manage that. If you can see me, just let me know. Yeah, that's fine. I think the major thing right now is the presentation. Let's look at that, and then we could move on. All right. Let me see. Putting my camera in this. Maybe you could see me based on my phone. It's not much different. It's all right. I think.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's good now.
All right, fine. All right. So as I said, what we learn, I think the first thing we're trying to do is to say, how do you improve your financial IQ? Okay, how do you achieve financial clarity and mastery? how do we set smart financial goals, achieve discipline with budgeting. We're not going to cover that in this class because that's usually it's very detailed. We want to spend time to set financial goals and also then effectively track your spending and then see how you can get out of all bad debt, because there's a difference between good debt and bad debt. Good debt finances itself. Good debt is debt that using to do investments or projects that the returns is taking care of the debt, and so those are good debt. But they are bad debt. You've entered into bad debt, maybe because you had to do impulse purchasing, you borrowed money, or you got into debt for somebody else, you're a guarantor to the wrong person, and all that. So those are bad debts. And how do you get out of that in 90 days or less? So we have like a framework and which we share on how you could do that. And then lastly is how can you plan effectively for financial uncertainties? And I said that uncertainties will come. Life is all about uncertainties. Things will come, but the question is, are you ready? How ready are you? Nobody knew the pandemic was going to happen last year, but the pandemic happened. Many things happen. How ready are you when these financial uncertainties happen? And so that's really what we're covering in this. So I'll start with the first lesson, which is understanding the 5 financial IQs. If you read the book by Robert Kiyosaki, he mentions 5 things that I think are extremely important in our journey in the finance, in personal finance mastery. I think the first thing he says is that we need to make more money. Making more money is absolutely important for every single person.
Okay, I think we're losing you, Andikan. You got frozen at some point. Is that from me or from you, I think?
I think it's from me. Just give me a second, sorry.
Oh, okay, that's fine. You never can trust this network service providers, so a lot of time we always get different Wi-Fi's and hotspots around just to be sure that we're fully covered. Okay, so while we wait for Andikan.
Yeah, it's coming up. Just give me a second. Sorry. Yeah.
Not a problem. So let me just still say a very big welcome to those of you that are just joining. We've done an introduction, okay, and we've talked about the topic of today, which is going to expose you to a lot of insight into how to manage your personal finance. And we also did a bit of introduction of our guest today, and we read out his profile. And I'm sure some of you already know him because he's been on 1 or 2 platforms. And I want to say a very big thank you to My Investment Africa also for coming on board with MCTB to launch this amazing program. So for those of you that probably would love to share this with your family and friends, it will be on our YouTube page, and I've shared the YouTube link a while ago. And after that, you can always also share. Just love in sharing, let people benefit more in financial literacy discussions like this. Andikan, are you ready for us now?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Oh, okay, great. So I'm back on my laptop. Let me just share my screen again and let me know when you can see it.
Yes, we can see your screen now.
Okay, great. I want to just maximize the screen so that it's very clear for everyone. Okay, just give me a second. All right, I think it should be on slideshow now. Just checking, see that. All right, great. So yeah, thank you very much, and sorry for that. I'm connected on phone and this, and so different connections, and I just have to optimize the network at the time. All right, so making more money. I talked about making more money. I said there are 5 major things you need to know. I think number 1 is making more money. Number 2 is protecting your money. Number 3 is budgeting your money. Number 4 is leveraging your money. And number 5 is improving your financial information. Now, all of them in themselves need to be learned. Okay. Now this masterclass is touching on, a number of areas. And as we go on in the detailed session, we try and touch on every single thing and how you could maximize that. Okay. So the first thing is making more money. And if you agree with me, you know that exactly. Yeah. If you agree with me, you know that you need to have multiple streams of income. I've been a big fan of that, since God knows when. I mean, it's just important that you have multiple streams of income. You can't depend on just one source. You can't depend on just one source. No matter how big that source is, it's really not good to depend on one source. Now, if you look at my screen, a study by Tom Collins says that self-made millionaires generated their income from multiple sources. You have 65% of people having 3 streams of income, 45% of millionaires have 4 streams of income, and 29% of them had 5 or more streams of income. Now, what that means is that you don't see a real millionaire with only one source of income. Some people say, oh, I just want to have a very high-paying job. That's good. That's a good starting point. You want to have a good job that's paying you well, but you don't want that to be the only source of income you have, because if anything goes south, you could see yourself living a pinnacle of lifestyle to a detrimental state because you had only one source. And having multiple sources of income does not mean that you have to work more jobs. It doesn't mean that, oh, you have to, have several side hustles and kill yourself. No, it just means you have to spend some more time understanding opportunities that are bound and be able to create ways that either your money can work for you, your skills can work for you, your network can work for you, and you could now multiply income through those streams. And so this is the number one financial intelligence that everybody needs. Because if you don't have multiple streams of income, you can't invest properly. Okay, you can't improve your financial information because you don't have multiple streams. Okay, and even if you don't have much, let's assume that your salary is just small. You have just small money right now. Okay, how do you increase other sources? And some of us that have been on, some of seminars and the rest talk about this. But I tell you, it's number one in the financial IQ. Now I'm going to go to the next thing. The first thing you need to understand is that number one, to make more money, you want to be able to learn new skills. Okay, you currently have some money today that is evidence of whatever skills or network you've built till today. So if you're a bank manager or a director or an entry-level employee or whatever, that money you make right now is evidence that you've done something till this point. You've gotten some skills that have taken you to this point of earning. Now you need to begin to learn new skills if you want to make more money. You want to be able to understand new ventures that could give you a chance to make more money. So that's important. Then you need to be able to save a portion of your income. Now a portion, now you're saving that portion especially because you want to be able to have something to invest. So you want to make sure that your money starts working for you almost immediately. And so that's why you need to invest a portion. That portion could be as small as 50,000, could be as small as 20,000, as small as 10,000. But the point is that you need something that can begin to work for you. Because if you don't make money a slave for you, you will work and work and work till you die for money. And so one of the important things about making more money is not about doing so much, but understanding that your money can be employed to work for you. Now, being able to reinvest and invest your savings from cash or side income is what will now take you there. And the next thing is protecting your money. Somebody said, what portion of income should be saved? For example, I've said 10 to 20%. Now, it also depends on how much you're earning. For somebody that is earning probably 5 million naira a month, person can save 70% of his money. Person can save 50% of that money. Person can invest 50% every month because the income flow is high, okay? And he can live comfortably on half of that income. But if you're doing probably 300K a month or 200K a month, you probably won't be able to do 50%. You want to really, maybe you have a family to fend and all that. But in the very least, you could do away with 10 to 20% of your money and not feel it. Just assume that it's not there, okay? And plan your life with the remaining. So that's like the benchmark, 10 to 20%. You can increase as you go on. So I saw that question. I just went in that. I'll talk about what you can invest in, in another session or as we go on. But right now, let's just focus on this. The second thing is protecting your money. Protecting your money is very key. A lot of people think that the next income is going to make them financially better or richer or what have you. So they are hoping, they are working very, very hard for the next promotion, for that extra 100K in their salary, or for that extra maybe 1 million in their salary. Because some increments in your career could give you an extra 1 million, 2 million in your salary. But it's not that extra that necessarily is going to make you rich. It's what you do with the extra. Now, if you get that extra and you still don't understand how to protect your money properly, that extra will be eaten up. I like this passage in the Bible, Ecclesiastes 5 verse 11. He says that the more you have, the more people come to help you spend it. So the more you have, the more people come to help you spend it. Meaning that if you're not careful, you continue to earn more and more, and continue to spend more and more, and there's no difference really. There's an increase, as it were, in the actual income that has come in, but because you've not gotten a hold of how to protect your money, there is no increase. There's another passage I like very well. It says, be sure to know the state of your flocks and pay close attention to your herds. Because it said riches come and go, and sometimes wealth does not last the next generation. So you need to understand how to protect your money. And I say something that is very, some people see, they're like, what do you mean? I say, learn to say no. Learn to say no to yourself. Learn to say no to your friends, to your family, to your neighbors, to religious bodies, to government, to charities. Just learn to say no. Now, I'm not saying you should always say no, but learn to say no. Learn to say no, because if you don't say no first and then think and justify why you are giving out that money or spending that money or doing all that money, you end up saying yes to everything that is not important. So protecting your money starts from saying no, okay? And that's just what I want to talk about right there. And the next thing is budgeting your money. And I said that, it's the one that plans that wins. A lot of people don't have a budget. As money just comes, it just goes. They don't know what they've spent on. They don't know. In the personal finance program, we take people through a budget tracker. We take them through a system of being able to have their expenses and revenue created and have a view, easily on what they are doing per time. Now, we're not going to do that in this session, but it's very clear to do that. Yeah. So you need to learn to say no so that you know when to say yes. You need to say no to frivolity so that you can say yes to investment opportunities. A lot of people don't have money to invest, don't have things to take advantage of opportunities that come before them. Reason being that they've spent all the money on frivolities because they didn't know how to say no. So you don't need to have a budget. A budget is the process, is what an estimation of your revenue and expenses for a specified period. It's a spending plan. So you have an idea, of what to do. And in the class, we have like a budget framework that teaches you how to share, because these things are not that rigid. It doesn't have to be, every penny, you must account for every penny. But if you have a framework in your mind as to what to do per time, any income that comes in is just plugged into those sources, to those expenses. All right. Now, what are the types of budget? There's some things there. I'm not going to go into the details of the types of budget and all that. But what I want to say here is that a budget does certain things for you. Number one is that a budget gives you knowledge. It gives you knowledge so that you know where you stand. It puts you in control so that you can make decisions easily. When you understand that this is my budget for the month, when people bring in their own things that are not in that budget, just tell them, no, you can't do it now. It's very simple. But because you don't have a budget, you're always considering several things that don't need to be considered. What was my child's school fees? My child, this thing. Several things. Even in the churches who come and meet you because you're a leader, God is depending on you. God is not depending on you. You are depending on God. And so if you don't have a budget, what happens is that everything will come to you, and you're not growing. A budget tells you who you are so you can make changes if you're not happy. So if you keep a budget, you'll be able to check, where did this 1 million go? Where did this 5 million go? Where did this 100,000 go? Where did this 50,000 go? When you check that consistently over a month or 2 months or 3 months period, you understand who you are. You can make changes if you're not happy. It helps you track progress. When you're trying to make changes, the only way to track that progress is through what? Is through that budget, okay? Now, in the detailed program, we again take people through how to draw up a budget. So we're not able to do that now, but those are key things that you need to know, okay? Now, the next thing is leveraging your money. Now, there's a place in the Bible that, a lot of that, the parable that, of talents. They gave them different talents. And when the master came back, he asked them, he said, why? He asked the first one, what did you do with the money? He said, oh, my 5 talents has become 10. He asked the one, okay, what did you do? He said, my 2 talents has become 4. He asked the one he gave 1 talent. He said, what did you do? He said, no, I didn't do anything. That because you're a hard man, I kept it, I hid it. And he asked him a question. He said, why didn't you deposit my money in the bank? At least I could have gotten some interest on it. And that's telling you that leveraging your money is very important, meaning that every money you have has a seed to make more. He said that why didn't you deposit my money in the bank? At least I could have gotten some interest on it. So that means that everything you have has a potential to gain more interest. But the question is that, do you know how to do that? What do the banks do? The banks use the money you and I put in there and are able to multiply that money. They're able to put it into investments, trade it, put it into different money-making instruments and multiply that money. Why can't you learn to do the same for yourself? So leverage is basically using debt to achieve a financial or business goal. You put money in the bank. Now, when banks are still banks, because now you put 100,000 in the bank and you leave it for 1 year, when you come back, what you see there is 96,000 or 95,000. They will tell you the savings account, but the interest they're paying on that savings has the SMS charges, card charges, and all that has taken away from that money. So you need to now learn, how can I do better with my money than just keeping it in the bank? And I'll be talking on some of those things, hopefully in the Tuesday session, just as Strategist has said. Now, I talked about, kinds of leverage and all. I'm not going to go into that now. I'm moving into financial IQ 5, which is improving your financial information. I think that this is one of the, after making more money, which is number 1, I personally feel that the next thing you need to know is this, because budgeting is under this, leveraging your money is under this, protecting your money is under improving your financial information, learning how to use operations, understanding taxes, understanding investments, understanding investment vehicles, and the rest is all under improving your financial information. So when you make more money, the next thing you want to do is not saying, because some people come and ask me, I have 100,000, what should I use it for? And I say, it's not what you should use the 100,000 for first that is important. Again, it is your education, because people just multiply their money without having education. Improving your financial education is something you need to take responsibility for, personal responsibility for it, majorly because nobody taught us this in school. So you went to school for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 4 years, what have you, in university, you probably started from primary school all the way up, so maybe like 16 years or so in school, 6 years primary, 6 years secondary, that's 12 plus 4, 16 years or 17 or 18 years, schooling and learning different things. But nobody taught you how to make money and how to multiply your money and how to be financially free. It's not taught in the school system. Now, some people say it's deliberate to put certain people in a particular portion in their life, but you now owe yourself the responsibility to improve your financial information. So many people take their financial education for granted and they spend more time on other quote and unquote important things. We all have a relationship with money. From birth till death, finances remain a key integral part of our lives. Some people don't want their grandparents to die, not because the grandparents is not old enough, but because they don't have money to bury the grandparents. Some people don't want, cannot take on certain things because they don't just have money for it. So money is just integral. And so to ignore it and say, I don't care and all that is doing yourself a great disservice. Okay. Now, many of us have just lived with information that has been passed down, to us from our parents about money, from our friends. But sometimes when you look at that information, it's not good enough because that's not taking us from the point where we are to where we are supposed to be. All right. So this is very key. All right. It's very key. And I talked about how to classify information, places of information, and things like that. But I'll quickly move to financial clarity and mastery. Now, in the call, in the program, what we try to do is to take people on a journey to understand how do you create a vision board for their financial future. You know, you have an idea of what you want to do financially. You have a vision for different parts of your life. But for your finances, it's very important that you are clear. How do you cultivate good financial habits? How to cultivate a winning financial mindset? And the 5 financial growth inhibitors. Now, I'll just talk about quickly, this is a sample of vision board and the rest we go through process, but I'll talk about the 5 financial growth inhibitors quickly. Just talk about this quickly in this session because we don't really have time. Number 1 is, I need a wage or a salary. Now, I'm not saying a salary is bad. Don't get me wrong. But some people think that if they don't have a salary or a wage, they can't move ahead financially. Now, you need to understand that every income source is as good as the other. The question is, number 1, is it legal? Number 2, is it adding value? Number 2, are you offering value? Once you're offering value, then you can get paid for that value. And if you can offer value continually, then you keep on getting paid continually. So while a salary is good and is a good starting point, don't think that without it, you can't move. For some people tell you, what's happening? I lost my job. 1 month, I lost my job. 2 months, I lost my job. 3 months, I lost my job. 4 months, I lost my job. 1 year, I lost my job. I'm looking for a job. How will your life be on a standstill simply because what you couldn't get a job? What other thing can you do? How can you work on yourself to be able to deliver value that you can always get paid for? Next is investing is complicated. Now, this is a big one because a lot of people have money, have a good income, but they're not investing. And so investing is not complicated. In fact, what I've realized is that most of us went through courses in the universities that the syllabus are far, far more complicated than learning the simplest investments. So investing is not complicated. You just need to allocate time for learning how. 2 hours weekly is enough. 2 hours weekly is enough to be able to learn enough to become a really good investor in different market space. If you are consistent with 2 hours weekly over a 1-year period, you will know so much about making money that your finances will literally have been transformed. It's not because you don't have money to invest, because you don't know what to do. That is just it. Another thing is, I don't deserve it. For those of us that have attended some of Jimmy Terrell's programs and all that, you understand that we deserve money, okay? You deserve a happy lifestyle, deserve an abundant lifestyle. Tell yourself every time, I deserve to be rich and successful. The other thing is, money is the root of all evil. Well, those are religious things. Money is not the root of all evil, okay? I always tell people, think of what's good you could do with money. Money is just reflective of who you are. If you're a good person, you have money, you do more good. If you're an evil person, you have money, you do more evil. So money is neutral, okay? It's not the root of all evil, okay? If you're lusting after it, you want to use it for evil, it will be used for evil. If you choose to use it for good, use it for. So always ask yourself, what will I use it for? Now, the other thing is the fear of losing money. Now, this one holds a lot of people back from doing things, the fear of losing money. And for me, I asked myself, when you came into this world, did you come with money? I mean, if you came with money, if you came with money when you came into this world, can you type yes in the chat box? Let me see. If you came into this world, when you came into this world, you came into some money. You held some money in your hand, or maybe it was stuffed in your stomach, your ear. Did you come in with some money? Nobody. Okay, nobody came in. I thought someone came in with some money because when the fear of losing money, like they came with it. So you are afraid of losing it. Maybe they came with it. Okay, they didn't come. Okay, nobody came with it. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Now, why I say that is that you didn't come with it and you won't go with it. So more than the fact that you make money here, you're not going to go with any single one. So why are you afraid of saying, okay, let me try this out? You're not trying out to lose money, but understand something. There is no multi-billionaire or millionaire you hear about that has not lost some money at some point. In that journey to become wealthy, there will be some losses. You will make some decisions, but that might not be wrong. I've been on the call before when the owner of Charis Motors, Cosmos Maduka, he said he lost because he considered an investment opportunity, he didn't do due diligence. He lost almost ₦1 billion just because of that mistake. But he lost it and protected his integrity, and he's still alive. People are afraid to lose $200, $300, $400 because they say, okay, to do this thing, you need about $500 to start. And then they are so scared of $500. How do you want to become a multimillionaire? Okay, so this is very, 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 very important, and I want you guys to take note of it. You do not want to be a person that is stagnant in finances because of these 5, financial growth inhibitors. Now we talk about setting smart goals. I'm not going to talk about that here. Talk about achieving discipline with budgeting. Again, I can't go into details of that here. This is a long thing. I'll try to explain it in detail. The next thing is effectively tracking spending. Okay, how do you track your spending? How do you track your spending? Okay, now I'll talk about difference between essential and non-essential expenses quickly. Then I'll talk about how to reduce non-essential expenses and change your expense profile. Then I'll talk about how to get out of recurring debts quickly. Now, just understand that there is difference between needs and wants. Now, some of your wants might become needs as you climb up the financial ladder. So for example, you have some billionaires that have private jets. You might look at it that, oh, this is exorbitant, but for them, it's no longer a want, it's not luxury, it's a need. Because to meet with the different obligations they have across the world, they need a private jet. They can't afford to stay in the line waiting for commercial planes. They can't afford, to continue to wait for all those things. So they need a jet flying. But for you, there's some things that are not yet there for you. So you need to be able to understand per time what is the difference between my needs and my want. And we try to look at that. One thing I usually say is that if you aren't sure if an item is a need or a want, delay the purchase decision. Do without it for a period of time. If you still can't do without it, then it may be a need. So if you look at something and you say, I really, 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 really need this thing, but it's expensive, maybe it's high price and all that, check. If you wait for 1 month, 2 months, and you still be okay. If you can't, maybe it's a want. Now, but as I said before, some wants might become needs at some point. You need to understand that. Now, the next thing to understand is getting out of debt. I explained at the beginning that there's a difference between good debt and bad debt. There's a difference between good debt and bad debt. Okay, and you want to know that in detail. We try to explain that in the personal finance program. What is good debt, what is bad debt, how do you maximize good debt, and how do you get rid of bad debt. Now I have a get out of debt framework, which I try to explain to people. Number one is they want to review your debt status. You could be in debt, okay, bad, but you need to be clear. Don't be that person that wants to hide or run away from the bad debt. Integrity is key. You need to be able to say, this is what I owe. I'm clear about it. You've looked at it. You've written out the list of people you owe. You have an idea of how much you owe. Is it bearing interest? Is it not bearing interest? And all sorts. You want to be clear about that. Then next, you want to rank it. What's the highest amount I'm owing? What's the lowest amount I'm owing? It needs to be clear. You want to then negotiate. You want to discuss with the people you are owing and say, guys, ladies, I have a plan to pay. I know I'm owing you. This and this was what went wrong, either in my business or on the investment we did. And it's clear I'm owing. I'm not, trying to get to run away. Okay. You negotiate with that, and then you ask them that this is your plan to pay. Who can give you reductions? Perhaps some of them are interested in paying, debts. Maybe you borrow something from some friends and you told them, oh, you're going to pay them some returns, and all that. But the investments went bad. You call them, tell them, this is what you want. You would love reductions and the likes. Okay. You ask. You need to be bold about it. Now, I know being a debt is not the best of situations, but you need to go to negotiate, to face those things and tell them, I'm going to pay. Once you tell people you are going to pay, you would realize that their attitude towards you will change. Then next thing is making more money. If you got into debt, to service that debt, you need to actually make more. And that's why it's really not good. Money is actually not good. Somebody type money aloud. You need to understand that debt might be bad, but you need to make more money to get out of that debt. So if you got into debt and you were earning maybe 100,000 a month, obviously to get out of that debt, you might not be able to go out with that 100,000 a month. You want to make more money to get out of that debt faster. So it takes you back to financial IQ 1. How do you make more money? Okay? And then begin to look at that. Now review your expense profile, which is financial IQ 2, budgeting your money. How do you budget properly so that you're not spending unnecessary things? And then so you not have more money towards channel toward the debt payments. And then nextly, I say don't take on new debt. It's funny that a lot of people pay off old debt with new debt. And that's because they've not gone through a framework like this that enables them to understand that they could get out of debt. And one of the things they must not do is take on new debt. Avoid new debt like a plague if you want to get out of old debt. Okay. And so we walk through some exercises, in the personal finance program. This is just a short masterclass, and talk through that. Okay. Next, I want to talk about is, just give me a second, is planning for financial uncertainties. Now, this is very important. This is very important. As I said before, what uncertainties happen? How do you plan for them? Now, number one is I need to have an emergency fund. It has ups and downs. The trick is to see how you could attain higher highs and avoid lower lows. So you don't want to be, and that's why it's good to have financial education. That's why it's good to have financial education. Because there are times, if you can still hear me, please, can I get a yes in the chat box?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, good. Now, what I was trying to say is that why it's very important is that, the life is generally, you see some highs and lows, yeah? You see some highs and lows. Now, how do you maximize the bull seasons so that during the bear seasons, you have enough to take care of you, okay? How do you maximize the bull seasons so that during the bear seasons, you have enough to take care of you, okay? And there are bull seasons and there are bear seasons. There's this interesting story in the Bible of Pharaoh. He had a dream and he saw lean bears eating up fat cows. Lean cows eating up fat cows. Lean cows. Imagine if you went into a dream and in that dream, you see lean cows eating up fat cows. It's a very dangerous kind of dream. Now, what that means is that the times of famine, the times of bears are actually so loud that they could eat up an entire bull season if you didn't do the right thing during the bull season. And that's why you see people who have worked oil companies, nice jobs, 25 years, 30 years, 20 years, and then 1 year without that job. It's like they didn't work for 25 years. Because of what? The bull seasons. Because of what? The bull seasons. Okay? So it's very important to know, what do you do during those periods? What do you do during those periods? Now, I talk about an emergency fund component. And I say, number one, you have to have cash reserves. Now, that's very important, but that's not the only thing. You want to have cash reserves. Next, you want to have compatible skills. What skills do you have today that can easily be converted towards income-making opportunities if the need arises? Then you want to have strong networks and friendship. You need to continue to have a network that is strong so that in times of emergencies, you could leverage those networks. Then you have what? Income yielding assets. So emergency fund, people say, just have cash, just have cash. No. Not just have cash. Because cash will finish. Cash will what? Will finish. If that's the only thing you have for emergency, it will finish. Once there's an emergency, you need to have what? A combination of certain things. And I mentioned cash reserves, I mentioned convertible skills, I mentioned strong network and friendships, I mentioned income yielding assets. Now, I quickly talk about the 5-step emergency period guide. And I think that's what we'll probably be rounding up right now. Okay. Number one is guard your emotions. When there are emergencies, when there are down times for people, they make irrational decisions because of emotions, because of their emotions. You need to guard your emotions. The next thing you do is to review your emergency plan. Now, in this personal finance program, in the 2-weekend session, we take you through an emergency planning activity. Now, as Strategist said, I was management consultant. for 20 years. And one of the things we did was creating business continuity frameworks for organizations. And some of those frameworks were what some banks that I consulted for used during the pandemic to make sure that they could transition their business and be able to survive that pandemic. Okay. Now, what I've done is to create a framework that can be applied into our finances. Okay. Now, that emergency plan it is not when you have an emergency, you now start creating an emergency plan. You should have done it before the emergency happens. So you need to have a plan. And for those of you that will, eventually join the personal finance program, you would go through that exercise and create different emergency plans. If this, God forbid, somebody dies, God forbid, somebody loses his job, God forbid, all those things, have scenarios and create it. Next is to what? Communicate your intentions. When you have an emergency, it affects you and other people in your life. Your wife, your children, some people dependent on you. How do you communicate to them? Some of you are paying school fees for many people that are not even your family. And then you now lose that big job or that big source of income. How do you communicate to them that, see, this thing, all things being equal, I would love to do it. But right now, I can't do it. And then you execute your actions. You've communicated to the key parties. You've told them your intentions. How do you begin to execute it? And then the last thing I talk about is prayer. Some of the times you've planned and planned and planned, but when those times come, to execute those plans requires strength of character. So your prayer, your spirituality is so important during those periods so that it can take you there. Now, that's the end of this part, all right? I'm trying to summarize something that is being done in a very long time, okay? So I could take some questions. I could take some questions. I could have a discussion, but I think I tried to use the allotted time for this. So thank you very much. Okay, we can have some questions. I really appreciate you. All right.
Andikan. Wow. I get an echo. Okay. Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, just say something on the chat button. Awesome. You've never failed me. I so much trust in your capacity and capability of delivering such an amazing lecture. You can go off screen now so that we can see the people in the class. Can you do that? Okay. Amazing time. I literally sat back again in class today and just sat down like a student, diligently writing down notes and taking in nuggets, amazing stuff. Andikan, God bless you. God bless you for me. God bless you for every one of us. Life has been changed today. You've actually giving us a great mindset shift about finances. Everything you've talked about today, a lot of people have heard something similar, but really it has not sunk this way. So once again, I say very, very big thank you. So before we would like to close in one heart today because we have other programs. Myself and Andikan will be on another show again today in about 40 minutes. So, but before we do that, I just want to take a few questions. Okay, so if you have your questions, can you put it on the chat box? Let's take a few questions. Yes, everyone is saying amazing time. Thank you, Andikan. Good delivery. Amazing and well thought out presentation. Do you guys have questions? It said several things, okay? I have part of my notes here. It said don't take on new debts to cover on or to cover up for an existing debt. Okay, it talked about everything you have has a potential to multiply. So it is not a matter of, oh, I don't earn that much, I don't have so much, but everything that seed in your hand is actually a potential. It has a lot of potential to multiply. You talked about your financial intelligence is your personal responsibility, so don't leave it out to anyone. Go for trainings like this. Go for programs like this. Get more knowledge, get more skills. If you are not sure if it is a need or a want, check if you can wait for a definite period. Just check. Can this wait? Can it wait for 1 week? Can it wait for 3 days? Can it even wait for 1 month? Then if it can wait, then definitely that is actually a want and not a need. Okay. Andikan, It's been an amazing time with you. So I'm going to take one or two questions. There are several things we practically took out of the discussion today, which you have to learn in the personal finance program. So Andy, can tell us about the personal finance program. Now you're still on mute. Can you?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I can't unmute before, so I couldn't unmute. Okay. Yeah. So the personal finance program, as I've said, it's detailed. It runs for 2 weekends. We're having a session in this month of May. I think it's from May 15th. Yeah, let me just give me a minute. Yeah, May 15th to May 29th. So May 15th is the introduction, and then we'll have 22nd and 29th. Okay. Now, between the 2 weekends, we'll have different exercises because some of these things need to be practical for people to really get the best out of it. Right? Exercises that you do, look at it, and then I'll be available for coaching during that period to really help people through that framework, especially people in debt, because it's really tough on many of them, especially because they've taken on debt from here and there and all that. So we'll have that. That's it. It's the 2-week program. I'm going to push out the link to sign up or register. Just immediately after this, I'm going to send it on the My Investment Africa group. I'm going to send it to Coach Titi so that he can forward it to
so
other.
This is some of the benefits you get for being on My Investment Africa. So the team in My Investment Africa will get an opportunity to be part of this. You can sign up, and also you can follow Andikan at Andikan.
I'm going to type my Andikan Ibanga. Exactly. You're right.
Andikan Ibanga. Follow Andikan. Then so someone said again, they said, how do you want to join the personal program that has been taken? When are we having the crypto class? So this is just a foundation, okay? And the further discussion is going to happen on Tuesday, all right? But this is only, well, Andikan, I'm not sure if we should keep this only for people on MIA or MCTB, or we should make it open. We'll probably make it open.
I mean, MIA guys are getting the first, how do I put it? They are the first beneficiaries of the crypto session.
Yeah, so we're gonna have the crypto session on Tuesday. All right. Yeah. We've not decided what time it's gonna be, but most likely it's gonna be at about 8 o'clock on Tuesday. So stay tuned, okay? If you want to learn more about this, also find your way to My Investment Africa Club, or you follow me at Top Bandele on IG, or you follow Andikan Ibanga, or you follow MCTB. You'll find us everywhere. You'll find us somewhere, okay? And let's talk about this amazing opportunity on Tuesday. All right, so let's take someone says, regarding crypto, because I remember, I'm just trying to read the questions, because I remember that was part of your field. How do I learn, please? If you want to learn about crypto, come on Tuesday. Yeah, we're having a very full 2-hour session about this on Tuesday. What's your advice with bank top-up loans, Andikan?
You say
advice with bank top-up loans.
Top-up loans. Just give me a minute. I'm trying to figure out where the question. Okay, so bank top-up loans. I'm figuring you're saying you have like a facility with your bank, and then maybe let's say your salary did not come early, right? And then you took finance. Is that what you're trying to talk about? I'll probably need, if he could be unmuted. I just want to be clear.
No, so let me tell you what he's talking about. I have an idea of what he's talking about. You have a loan, a current running loan, and you have another, well, seemingly thing to be a need, and you feel you don't have enough. Then you go back to your bank to get a top-up loan over an existing loan. What is your financial advice about
that? As I said, it's the same thing. You shouldn't increase that, especially if it's a bad debt. Again, if it's a bad debt, what are you using the loan for? That's the question. If you're using loans for investments and the likes, then you could do that. You could get, if you see a better opportunity that will also repay that loan, then you could explore that. But as long as it's servicing a liability, it's absolutely wrong to continue to add to that. It's absolutely wrong.
That is the word.
That's it.
You just said it. That's the simple answer in background, so that we don't dwell much on that. Whatever loan you are taking, and that loan is probably not an emergency loan, probably is a matter of life and death, then I would say yes, take a loan for that. But if it is a case of you getting a loan to buy a car or frivolities, if the interest of your loan cannot be serviced by a profit from a business that loan has brought, then run away. Run. If you're going to take a loan, and the loan you're going to take, you calculate your interest, and the interest from that loan cannot be net off, but cannot be paid by the profits that investment would bring. My brother, that is, you are going into debt.
Yeah.
You are literally going into debt. That's the simple analogy I tell people. Before you take the loan, get your Excel sheet, get your calculator. What is the interest coming from this loan? This money I'm getting from this bank, what am I investing it into? If what I'm investing into will yield multiple than what interest the bank is taking, then you are making a financial deal. All right. That is business for you. I don't run away from loans. I take loans. But before I take that loan, it's a calculated loan. Whatever I'm going to pay back to the bank, because the bank will definitely take interest, the loan should yield it, even more than that, and the rest will be my profit. That answers that. Engineer Yemadaleke says, my question is for clarity. On his point, say if you're earning big money, you can save more. That is correct. The more you earn, the higher you can save. He was trying to talk about if you earn 200,000, it might be difficult for you to save 60-70% of that when you actually have a running cost of 100,000 naira. Then how do you save 60% of 200,000? But you can imagine if you're earning 5 million naira and your running cost or your expenses or expenditure still remains the same or slightly higher, then you can save the rest. Literally, the higher you go in the rank of earnings, that is the higher your investment and your savings should go. But the mistake people make today is that the higher they go in the level of status of earning, the higher their expenses also go with them. That is a financial stupidity. A lot of people rise from becoming from a middle level manager to a senior level manager, and they change their lifestyle immediately. You are heading for doom. You are earning for doom. If you're earning 600,000 naira, the day you get a promotion to now earn 800,000 naira, that is when you realize that your Toyota Camry has to be changed to a Lexus Jeep. You are stupid. So if you cannot live low and live within your old means, you are not going to be financially profitable. You should learn that as you grow in life, your expenses do not necessarily have to grow with you. And if your expense will have to grow, you definitely have to look for that multiple streams, okay, to knock off the increasing expense. Not when you get a promotion at work. That is when you know that your child has to leave Ajegole High School to Corona College. No, because the way you should attack spending is this: if I don't spend this money, will heaven fall? If this child does not go to Corona, you can imagine. Let me tell you a story, Andikan. We don't have much time, but let me share the story. I had to buy a property from a woman who sold that property at the same price, at the same cost which she purchased it. Why? Because she has 2 kids. One went to Canada. She sold half of that property to send that child to Canada. Then when the other one also finished secondary school and she insisted that she was going to go to Canada, this woman sold the other property. And I had to tell her, I said, oh, you want to sell it? I will buy it from you. Because I asked her, why do you want to sell this? She said, oh, no, because the sister is in Canada. If I don't allow her to go to Canada also now, she might commit suicide. I said, madam, you're killing yourself. Today, I checked with a friend. This woman is now a shadow of herself. The children are in Canada. The 2 of them are in Canada. 6 months after the second one went to Canada, she works with, I think, with one of those banks I'm not going to mention. She lost her job. Today, both husband and wife are jobless, but 2 kids are in Canada. She's still living in Omole Estate, paying 850,000 rent. And I said, what cost you from leaving the Omole Estate and go look for a rent of 120,000 naira? She said, no, what will people say about me? This is the financial mistake people make. What will people say? I keep telling people, yes, people must say something. They will realize something. The day you're going to run bankrupt and you're going to start running to them to ask for money, they will still talk. Why don't you just allow them to talk now? I tell people, I said, I today I have not increased my level of expenses drastically in the last 10 years. Despite the fact that my income has increased exponentially in the last 10 years, if you know me, those that know me, I live the way I still used to live. Okay, I must have grown in terms of some level of
comfort,
need,
things you
okay,
can afford.
comfort, yes, but not necessarily going out of my way because I can afford it. And that is the mistake people make. You learn not to spend because you can afford it. Before you transfer that money, just have it at the back of your mind. What if I don't have it? Will I buy that Ashwebi? What if I don't have it? Will I change this Toyota Corolla to a Lexus Jeep? What if I don't have it? What if I don't have that salary increase? You're earning 1 million naira today. Do you know some people earn 100,000 naira and they're surviving? You survived when you were 28 and you got married and you were earning 300,000 naira. Now you are 40 and you are earning 4 million naira. You can still survive. You don't necessarily have to change your class in line with your status. Well, let's leave that for another masterclass. Okay, so
Awesome.
I'm gonna take a question, but I share a view that if you don't train to save in low income level, when the income increase, you might be spending more and not save more. Fantastic, engineer. That's what we're talking about. I'm excited about the coaching. Okay, am I on point? Thank you very much. Emmanuel Okonko said, please, for the benefit of those of us who joined later due to internet connectivity issue, we actually had about 70 people in class today. Fantastic. Could you please share the slide? No. These are things you pay
personal
for.
finance program and you get the full, exactly.
Register for personal finance program, you get the full slide. Okay. Please advise on some good investment opportunities we can key into. Come to My Investment Africa. All right. You will learn new investment opportunities you can key into. And if you want to be part of finance, we are full. We have 256 people. Every Sunday we do eviction. All right. We evict people that sit on the bench because this platform is free. So you can't just come and just sit on the bench and not do anything. We're not asking you. Andikan is an admin on the group. I am an admin on the group. Okay. I created that group actually. And we don't want people to just sit down and not make sense. All right. Apologies. I don't mean to insult anyone. But you have to be there and stay effective. And what we're asking you to do is invest. Invest for your sake, for your own sake. If you're not going to, if you're there, so we check on each other. If we give you, I am in the group. Thank you, okay. If you put you in that group, and we keep you on eviction notice or eviction list, you have to recover your shirt by telling us, oh, I have invested in this. Oh, I have done this. I have done that. You brought this to the program, then we keep you in the group. But we actually evict I do occupants. All right, can you expatiate? If you want to join My Investment Africa, just send a mail to myinvestmentafrica@gmail.com. It's that simple. Or follow me on Instagram at @stopperbandele. Then you can get more details. Okay, spot on, TT. How do we get the link to the crypto class on Tuesday? If you want to get a link to the crypto class on Tuesday, come to My Investment Africa or come to Masterclass with Dr. Bandele. We will give you the link. Or follow us on IG. You will see the link there. Alabi says, the high point of this class for me is need to get financial education and putting everything on hold and going for the education. You are making the best decision for yourself today, Alabi. Congratulations. Can't wait for the link to the personal investment program. We will share the link today. All right. Okay, Yemi Adeleke, learn not to spend just because you can avoid it. Yes, thank you very much. Hey, I have a lot of points. What's the platform? What platform is the group? And how do we join? Udemy, we've said it. So you can join the My Investment Africa by sending a mail. We are full now, but we will evict some people this week. Then we can bring you on board. But you only have 3 weeks to make sense. Otherwise, we kick you out again. All right. I'm there. I'm in the group. Thank you very much for those of you that are in the group. Yes, we have to go now. Thank you so much, everyone that joined today. Andikan, please drop the link. Let's drop it here. We do this. We are sometimes very generous. So drop the link on how to get into the personal finance program. But guys, don't miss the session of Tuesday. All right, don't miss it. If you're gonna miss anything, don't miss that session. It's gonna be mind-blowing. Andikan is gonna lead that session again and take you through into practical trainings or practical eye-opening exercises in the crypto world. It's going to be very, very, very impactful. So don't miss that. Okay, so thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just drop again the link to the YouTube page for those of you that really want to be part of it. Sorry, I'm using my phone. So I keep moving it around. Apologies for that. All right, so that's a link. Go on YouTube, you'll see this video on YouTube. If I have the time, Eman, if you're listening to me, please try and upload this video before Tuesday so that people can benefit on this. Then we have the Masterclass, which is about the network. It's a community of over 400 people in 2 WhatsApp groups. If you want to be part of that as well, and this is where we talk about a lot of things about everything. All right. So if you want to be part of it, just click on this link. And we also focus on kids as well, kids growth and kids opportunities. All right. So Andikan has posted a link. It's personal finance program.ck.page. All right, go on that link and then you can get into the class. All right, so I'm gonna post my Instagram page right now. If you can follow, if you get more information, this is the best we can do, not more than this. All right, and if you also want to join my Investment Africa, you just have to send a mail to myinvestmentafrica@gmail.com. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, this is Masterclass. We talked about the Model 20. It's a special edition with My Investment Africa. We're keeping it real here. And we really, really wish above all things that you stay in good health and in good wealth. Till we come again to your screen with MCTB Model 21. The topic is boiling now. They're cooking it. And you don't know what's going to be very soon. Let me just give you a hint. I think maybe next edition of the upper one, we're going to have the honorable commissioner for youth, sports and culture of your state. Is a youth. I think it's 28 or 27. It's going to come to talk to us about, I'm not going to tell you, okay? Just follow all those platforms, then you get all the details. Ladies and gentlemen, there's another program coming at 8:30. Those that are involved, they know themselves. Let's meet at the other side of Instagram. Ajoke Yusuf, I see you. Let's see on IG. And Andikan, let's go to the other side. Thank you very much, Andikan. Thank you so much for coming on my show today. God bless you real good. I'm quite happy. For about 70 people in the class today also, I say very, very big thank you to you. See you again. This is Tokwe Bandele. Let's keep it real. Bye.
Slam dunk, got you ready.